Next player I would like to discuss is quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan.
I was looking forward to talk about Matt Ryan.
Yeah, because before we get into it, I want to say this. I've loved Matt Ryan as a player. I think he's a class act. I think he has been the victim of some bad coaching decisions multiple times. He has been he has always had a pretty decent wide receiving core. The Falcons don't get enough credit. Like Julio was great for many years, but they've had other great wide receivers, Rodney White, Calvin Ridley. They're a team that they haven't had a terrible wide receiving group. And I was really perplexed by them taking Pitts in the draft. I think it was the right pick, but I'm curious to see now that Julio's gone, is the expectation for Pitts to come in and fill that spot? But with Matt Ryan, I really think with the new coaching staff, new regime in Atlanta, that if they could trade him, next year after seeing what the Rams got or what the Lions got for Stafford, if they could put Matt Ryan in some sort of trade like that, I think the Falcons would do it.
So I looked up a few numbers because I'm perplexed by what Atlanta's doing. I have no clue. So you draft your tight end at 4, right? First of all, you change Matt Ryan's contract. You restructure it last year, which ties you to him almost for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if they released him this year, it was a $65.4 million cap hit.
It was massive, yeah.
Next year, the dead money in 2021, this year was $24.9 million after June. Next year, it's $40.5 million. You have Matt Ryan for 2 more years.
You're stuck. Yeah.
And I guess if you were going to do it, it probably would have been this year because you could have drafted a quarterback. You were right there. You could have drafted Fields. The money is just so much that how do you get out from under that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's definitely I did. Thank you for looking that up, Chris. I knew the Falcons cap situation was terrible, but that really goes to show just how brutal it is for them. Wow. Okay. So even if Matt Ryan has a rough year this year, it doesn't look like they really can move on from him.
Not at $40.5 million. That's 25% of your. Yeah, it's a little over 25% of your cap.
Yeah.
Then what do you do?
I guess the one situation, if you're going full on rebuild,
yes,
that's why the Lions were okay to take on the rest of Goff's contract.
Yeah.
Now his contract is not that.
Yeah.
I think if you're like, okay, we're gutting the the roster to start a full on rebuild, then you're okay absorbing that cap hit. Now you have to have an owner who's willing to do that, and not every owner is Stan Kroenke.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big cap hit. So yeah, maybe it is an important year for Matt Ryan's career, but maybe the Falcons just have to be like, you know what, like with this kind of money, like we're okay with Matt Ryan no matter what. Yeah, ride or die.
I that's what I couldn't figure out. So you trade Julio Jones for a 2nd-round pick because you're in cap trouble, right? Like they are in cap trouble. So they trade okay, Julio hasn't played a full season in 2 years, but when he's on the field, he's ridiculously good.
Yeah.
I don't think the tight end's coming in and being Julio Jones in year 1 or year 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Julio Jones wasn't Julio Jones in year 1. So, yeah, the Matt Ryan one was interesting because I saw him on the thumbnail and I looked him up because I'd read a few things that didn't give dollar figures, but I'd read they were pretty much tied to him for 2 years once they restructured him. But if you think about it though, if you get rid of him, you're only paying the new quarterback $1 million, $2 million in his very first year.
Yeah.
So all in all, it's a $42 million cap hit for your quarterback, like with Matt Ryan gone, which is, I guess, the going rate of a top end quarterback these days.
Yeah,
you just don't have one. That's all.
Yeah.